Okay, I am joined by Frankie this morning, who is the owner of Bandi App. So yeah, Frankie, I'll pass over to you if you'd like to tell us a bit about your app, what it is you do, and how long you've been in business for.
So Bandi App is a clothes swapping app for people who love fashion and the planet. We essentially provide a platform as an alternative to fast fashion. So instead of buying new clothes, you can get new to you clothes by swapping with other people. Once you sign up to the app, you make a wardrobe. It looks a little bit like Instagram. And so instead of uploading your photos, you upload photos of your items. You then match with people of a similar size and style, like Tinder, very Tinder-esque type feed. And then once you've matched, you get access to each other's wardrobes and you can choose to swap, whatever you want and negotiate in chat. We've been now running, coming up for nearly 2 years. We're 2 years in October, and founded for over it's about 2.5 years, I think we founded it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But in a nutshell, alternative to fast fashion, trying to tackle the global fashion crisis really is our goal.
Of course. And then how long, so has it been yourself that's been involved in the business, or are there other people alongside you?
So found it with my sister. We've been swapping clothes since we were tiny. Like our mum always dressed us exactly the same.
Yeah.
And I did like a fair bit of traveling for years and years. And every time she would come to see me, I'd be like, please, can you bring some clothes for me to swap? Like I'm sick of the clothes in my backpack. And so we'd like swap clothes. And just pre-COVID, she came to visit me in Morocco. And we swapped clothes, and I was like, oh, it'd be so nice. It'd been like 6 months or something. And I was like, it'd be so nice if everyone had a sister to swap with.
Yeah.
And then literally just like sister chat, and we just started like, throwing ideas around about how it would be nice to do it. And we could do it like an app, and we could do it like Tinder. And then basically COVID happened. We both left jobless, and they basically opened up the space for us to do something about it. And yeah, that was kind of it. And then for about a year, we were like, we've taken this passion project a little bit too far.
No, it sounds good. It's great. Do you sort of like have a background of technology and coding, for example, or did you just have the creative aspects in mind and then got a system?
So my sister's definitely the more creative one.
Yeah.
Like our brains, for instance, is I would bullet point the list of what I wanted on every page, and she would draw it. So we're very like in sync, but completely different brains. But my background, I've got a maths degree, so I did do coding at university. From university, I went into cybersecurity for BP, so I was in their emergency cyber response team, again, like all to do with like hacking and
awesome
hacking. Really interesting. So I've always kind of been aware of tech and part of tech, and actually alongside Bandi, I've been head of operations for a tech company. Where I've learned loads and been able to apply a lot of that to Bandi, and it's allowed us to grow massively. But I wouldn't really say I've got a background in tech, but I guess as I say it out loud,
it sounds like you have. Definitely. And Bandi, where did the name Bandi come from?
So we were initially called the Swap Shop. Through our first raise, we had Canadian and American investors be like, you do know that the swap shop means like like a pawn.
Oh really?
Like to pawn, like a gold shop or whatever. And we were like, no, we had no idea. We need to change the name. And really early on, we'd Googled synonyms for swapping, and Bandi came up, but it's Bandy, and it's like a historical game of hockey, basically, and it's like a 18th century or something way to say to pass back and forth. And so we really liked it, because I was like, well, it's actually explaining what you're doing, and rather than being just clothes, it's kind of like just the actual process of being able to pass something back and forth, clothes, books, whatever. And so that kind of opens it up in the future for it doesn't just have to be clothes, and we don't necessarily want it to be either. So and then instead of putting a Y, we put an I, because it looked pretty.
Yeah, nice. And then in terms of the app itself, and I guess your users, are your users predominantly based here in the Southwest? Do you have I know you traveled, so do you have global users that use the app?
So we launched in the UK, so we've got just over 5,000 users, and they're all across the UK at the moment. And our plans, we're actually just opened our next round. And so the plan with that is to launch, we're only on iOS at the moment, so it's to add additional features, functionality from 2 years worth of feedback. And then we will also open up into other countries. We want to
Sure.
start expanding into Europe, the US, Australia, Canada,
Yeah.
English speaking predominantly first.
Yes.
But then I guess, you know, the whole of Europe, I live in Portugal and the whole of Europe speaks English anyway. So I feel like it's, you know, the possibilities to kind of just open up the doors is going to be, it's going to be fun, exciting.
Fantastic. 5,000 sounds like it's a good amount. I feel like that sounds like a nice number to already have under your belt.
Yeah, and we kind of did that in the first like 4 months. So in the first couple of months, it was very organic, like from launch, it was just like people that had been following us for a year, and we had a Facebook group before with like 2,000 people on. They kind of like migrated over quite quickly. And then we started running ads, and the ads did like amazingly well.
Sure.
They were bringing in like 1,500 people a month. And then we essentially took the choice to pause everything because we were getting feedback about the app, but not having the time, the time to implement it all. So the last couple of months, we kind of paused. We paused all of our ads. So like no one paid advertisements coming in. And then it's been like organic for quite a while, but our business kind of place now is like, it works, people want it, people are making swaps, it's serving its purpose, but we're ready to kind of take it a bit further whilst we wait for the raise. And so in that time, we're looking, you know, we've just found a new developer, we're going to start pushing some of this new stuff out. Because it serves its purpose, and it's like a MVP revenue generating, but there's a lot more we can do with it. And so I think we're slightly perfectionists in that stance. You know, if we get feedback, we want it done for the
that's a good way to be. Especially I think as the app's still in its infancy, you've still got time on your side to
exactly. And it's, you know, it's one of those things that it's for the purpose of what we want to do long term. To pause stuff for us isn't a big deal, because it's like, well, we're doing it because the next 5,000 people we bring on, we want them to have an even better version of the app than the first 5,000 have.
Of course.
So it's making sure that when somebody lands on the app and they download it, they're like, oh, this is amazing. Not, oh, but you could do this, and oh, but you could do that. Yeah. So we kind of want to eliminate a lot of that before we start our ads again. Sometimes it's how they do, you know, we know once we press play on those ads, as you know, it's going to go. Yeah.
And then is that your ads predominantly sort of Facebook and Instagram, or? Yeah. Awesome. That's good that you know they already tried and tested and they work.
Yeah, they were like unbelievably amazing. Like the feedback we had from like the ads people and, you know, all around, it was just like, it's unheard of almost to press play on an ad and have the user acquisition that we did. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do your users then, so that they pay like a monthly fee, or do they pay a price per swap? How does that work in terms of?
So the app is freemium, so it's free to use. All users do is pay for postage.
Okay.
So you just literally free, like Instagram, nothing to pay to use it. But once you make the swap, you pay for the postage in app.
Yeah.
And then you get sent a QR code. And then with the QR code, you go and drop it off, and then they deliver it to the location. So a lot of tech on the back end to swap QR codes and data and stuff. But it basically means it's super easy for the user. You know, they're just like, yes, skip and pay.
I can speak firsthand. QR codes for sending clothes back are just so useful. How does that work in terms of your sales and you generating revenue for the app? Do you sort of take a cut of that, or?
So we take a tiny snippet of profit on the postal price, but we've also, when we did it, we genuinely did it from a place of like wanting to do something about fast fashion.
Yes.
And so I have the feeling we will probably come head to head at some point with investors being, you know, it is a sustainable business model. When we get the volume of users that we know that we can get, then it's fine. You know, like, you know, £1 with 50 swaps is not a lot, but £1 with 50,000 swaps is, you know, so it's when we get the volume, it's going to be great. But we also introduced a reusable postage bag.
Nice.
They're really nice.
That's got your branding on it, hasn't it? I think.
And nice. So again, it was this thing of, we were chatting about it, and then all of a sudden we were like, but how much plastic is going to be used to post all these clothes around? We don't want that. And so we found and designed these reusable postage bags, like all recycled material and recycled canvas, and so you can use it as a tote bag, but you can also put your swaps in, dip it up, put the label, and then it gets posted to your user. But obviously both of you have to have one to swap.
Of course.
I think they're like just been launched, and so whether we make them mandatory or not in the future, I'm not sure. For now, it's kind of like anybody on the app obviously cares about, you know, the planet and doing something with purpose and doing their bit. So we feel like people will naturally buy them anyway. But if that's not the case, there might be a problem of like, you know, we try to swap, I've got a bag, you don't, being aware of that and thinking, okay, I won't post mine in my bag. Otherwise you end up with my bag and I don't get one. So it's like stuff like that we'll eventually need to iron out. But I think for now it's like anything, take it day by day.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think sometimes in these situations, even if it's not a finalized version of what you want to put out there, you just have to put it out, and then you work through teething problems day by day. And
exactly. And it's something we've been aware of from day one with the bags, you know, and it's like everything. Also, some of it's, you know, we want like the end of life of the bag, for instance, and the end of life of our clothes. We know already as a business, we want to be fully circular. And although the principle of swapping is circular, well, what happens with the clothes on the app that never get swapped? What happens with the bags when they fall apart? And, you know, this is like in years to come, the bags last like 200 swaps per person, you know, so we're talking ages away. But I think almost what we envision isn't even available now in the you know, at the moment in the market. Excuse me. And so we know what we want to do with it, but it's a case of sometimes like we know that's going to happen, but it's waiting for the next sort of thing to come up, or solution to the problem, which definitely will. I mean, there's already loads of like upcycling, repairs and stuff like that are coming around. So yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to know that like the whole economy and world is shifting that way. You know?
Absolutely.
Like, we have this idea now and it's not available, but I know in a few years it will be.
I'm pregnant at the moment and going through like the phase of being like, I've got nothing to wear and this and that, but I'm like, I refuse to go and buy like all this maternity clothes and stuff. I'm like, what I've got, I'll just make it work, because otherwise it is just crazy. You just end up looking at all this clothes thinking, what am I going to do with it? So
congratulations.
Thank you.
Also when you have a baby, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a website that you can subscribe and get sent 0 to 3 months, and then after
I think I saw I don't know if you know Sophie Hellier.
I'm like, I love this idea.
Sophie Hellier is like a Cornish blogger, and then she put a post up about this sort of, she's just had a baby and put a post of all this clothes. It looked like an awesome idea. So
definitely and congrats.
Thank you. What does the future of Bandi look like? Where do you see the app going in 5 years?
5 years, I see it being global. I see it being the normal, the new way to shop. And I think one really important thing to us is to like we don't want to shame people. It's not like never buy new. It's if you can just swap 2 things instead of buying new every month. If you buy like 5 bits of clothing new, you know, you're doing your bit, you're making a difference. You know, it's helping the planet. It's not that you've got to swap every single time that you think of buying something new, or I need a white t-shirt. You know, it's like just try it, just try and do something different with it. And I think that mindset, that way of life is something that in 5 years is going to be so mainstream, normal, that Bandi is going to, you know, be fine. I think at the moment it's like the people that are kind of a bit ahead and it's natural and they don't have any stigma around it or judgment. But, you know, I think later on it will be quite, people are, it's a really cool idea, but they're not there yet to think first, you know, like, oh, I'll go and look if it's in Bandi, or I'll go look if that white t-shirt or striped t-shirt's available there, because I never wear that green one in the back of my wardrobe. You know, I think it's just a mindset that is like conscious consumerism. You know, it's coming, but it's not quite there. And I think in 5 years time it will be, and Bandi's gonna hopefully fly, change the world, help make a difference for everything.
I love the aspiration. I just love that you were like global straight away, like knew exactly where you wanted it to go. So yeah, hopefully with the launch of your ads campaign again, hopefully that'll get the ball rolling.
Hopefully. I mean, it's all about the raise, and it's also a shocking time to be raising again. Our first raise was like during the pandemic, and the second one has been like Russia and the economy, and everyone thinks it's going to be a recession and no one's investing. So we're like, again.
So many external factors to consider.
I mean, but it is what it is, you know, and I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. And I think when you care so much and have so much passion for something and believe in it so much, it doesn't really faze me. I think like it will happen when it happens, and the right investors will come, not from fault of putting work in. I look for them every day. But
fantastic, great mindset to have anyway.